Hello, everybody. Anime Reflux. This was
This
not
show.
what I signed up for this week.
Hey Yahweh, how you doing?
I
Yeah.
thought I thought we were gonna get some stupid action with subtle as a brick to the face analogy and metaphor. I don't know what we got
What?
instead.
What the fuck was this? Like, I spent here asking myself
We're
for
we're
20
in
minutes.
fantasy Europe, and as we all know, in fantasy Europe, there are samurai and Miko and magical girls.
Zero, you are deafeningly loud. Please move away from your
I
mic.
am very far away from my mic.
Just
I
tone
don't
him
know
down.
How do I manually adjust someone's volume?
Right click his name and then volume. There's a bar.
There it is.
Yeah.
Just lower you
I
down
lowered my
30%.
self.
God damn.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Good.
I have zero at like 10-15% right now. Wow. So, yeah. So, the show we're doing this week is called Prism Ark. I don't know what that name has to do with the show at all. I think they said it once.
Prism is the name or system in which they use magic, but it didn't. I don't know what the arc comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
For starters, I just want to say, before you even get into it, when this started, I was like, wait, are we watching like the second part of the show or something? Or like, is this like a
That-
series, different series or
yeah,
something?
that was the first thing I was thinking. Like, it felt like, you know that, like, episode in Gurren Lagann where it's like right before the big battle and they've had all this foreshadowing and stuff and they're all like really nervous and everything. It
Yeah.
felt like that episode, but we had no context for it. Like, there's a way to do in medias res where you're supposed to like actually exposit while you're in the middle of things, but they just didn't fucking do that.
Yeah, like it was long. I was like, wait a minute, this is going on for like 5 minutes. Is that like is this the right show? Are we watching like
Yeah.
did I somehow skip to the last episode or something? Or is this a
Okay.
different series?
They exposited for 13 minutes.
So, premise of this show.
But they didn't.
Basic details because I don't care about actual, really in-depth details. There's a boy, there's a girl. They like each other. One's kind of a crappy knight, I guess. The other is like in love with him. Anyways, you don't care about this because we're going to flash back to the boy's parent multiple times throughout this episode, and they'll matter later, I guess. Don't worry about it.
Is it his parents? What?
Yeah,
What?
it's his parents.
I thought, and apparently the comments for this episode also thought that it was just the same dude and he just got a dye job and a name change and they just didn't tell anyone.
No, there's a scene where there's the lady standing over a cradle with a blonde-haired boy, and she says, "Let me tell you the story of your parents."
Oh, that doesn't make the show any better.
And she's like
It kind of makes it
really
worse.
weirdly dressed and kind of ugly.
Does the child have blue hair? Like,
No, it has the blondish hair. And
Yeah,
So,
he apparently got his mum's hair. Is what is being said.
so, so there's a whole. It's trying to tell two stories at once. One of Yahweh and his parents.
it's not Yahweh though. You'd think that's how it's pronounced. They pronounce
It's
it highway.
highway.
Yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
That ruins your joke, Casey.
yeah, it does. It really does.
I
Oh,
like
God.
that there was such a romantic moment.
Oh god,
between-
literally.
I like that there was a romantic moment between the father and the mother, as the mother is choking out Hans. Really nice.
Yeah. So okay, let's go blow by blow because I really want to because I got some details that I needed for the sake of doing this blow by blow. So
Maybe it'll make more sense. I doubt it. Whatever. Let's go.
yeah, we're at the climactic scene before the big battle with I don't know, being fought by I don't know, and there is a romantic moment of tsundere girl and generic dude. And they're about to kiss, and they get interrupted by someone called Sister Hell. And I thought, oh, cool, we actually are going to get some of that allegory. That's going to be great. Yes, we got Hell, and we got Yahweh, and... No. But, you know, they get attacked. Flashback. So, we get a flashback, and then we do exposition of a war between people that lasts for hundreds of years, proving the writers don't have any sense of scale. And then the war ends because everyone's fucking exhausted after hundreds of years of war. By the way, the actual 100-year war, only, like, it was, like, bouts of, like, a couple of years of fighting off and on.
Yeah, it's on and off. Take a break for a few years to let our economy recover.
Yeah.
No, but shut up, though. Constant warfare. Active warfare.
That's how wars work. And logistics work. But yeah, the war ends, and there is a flash forward, and we're back to the fucking climactic moment before the battle, where a battle happens before the moment before the battle happens, and we have these two being attacked by this woman, except she sends a goon squad after the couple, and the goon squad get beaten. And then we flash back, and we're flashing back to a princess and prince, and we're told, hey, they're kind of not great, or the prince is kind of sickly or something.
They describe it as him having a weak body, and he's
Yeah.
going out to the countryside to recover in the clean air away from the capital.
Yeah, and while they're riding, they run across a dude with blue hair that literally falls out of a bush. And flash forward. Would you like to know how many flashbacks and flash forwards there are in this entire episode?
No,
Did you actually count?
I went back to count.
you bastard.
How many?
I'm going to guess 14.
Too high. In fairness, that's too high.
10.
By how much?
Too low.
13.
11. There were 11
Yeah.
flashbacks and flash forwards in this episode.
That is kind
After the 3 or 4 minute introductory scene with the two and the getting attacked, they don't stay on one scene for more than 90 seconds.
And
That sounds
when you
about right.
combine that with the fact that most of the shots in this show that I noticed in particular is that you have lots of still shots with no animation or a looping animation.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
all you
actually,
do is just kind of move the quote-unquote camera around the still shot.
I actually didn't pick up on that. I guess I was more focused on the narrative skipping around all over the
I
place.
was bored to tears, so I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, but like I can tell that the budget for this, when you put most of your budget into like the first and final episodes, typically the budget for this, non-existent practically. Because when you have this, like, because maybe it's because I've been watching Mob Psycho 100 a lot, and that always has animation and movement
Yeah, they go for fluidity in that rather than
that you
detail.
can often tell when there's a still shot. But like for this, like I felt like most of this episode was poorly animated and still shots. There's a part where they're running up this mech thing that appears later on, and it's a still shot with the camera moving around like they're actually moving, but they're not. And they're screaming, but their mouths aren't moving, and it's just a still shot of them while the voice actors scream. And that happens a lot.
So we flash forward back to the battle, and they're fighting with Sister Hell, and kind of losing. And then there's an interruption when reinforcements arrive. Hooray! And these are characters that we know nothing about, but we're happy they're
We're
here.
introduced to 3 people who... Okay.
Introduced implies we know their names, but yes. So we get Miko, and we get someone that throws knives or something, and we get a magician, and we get the teacher or captain or something. It's just someone they refer to as like a teacher that goes for Sister Hell directly. Flashback! And we're back to the kids again, and everything's great, and the kids became fast friends because they're kids. Not that that's how kids work, because kids can go one way or the other. It's actually really just a coin flip, but alright,
Okay,
fine.
so you actually skipped something in the
Did I?
in the 12 seconds that Sister Hell and the person were fighting. There was this weird back and forth implying that Sister Hell like blew up a fucking orphanage or something.
Oh yeah, that happened, but it's actually after this section. Like, they have the two of them hit each other, and then it flashes back, and then it flashes forward, and then they have this big conversation. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This show is a mess, pacing-wise. I don't know whether that's come through yet from our discussions of it.
Why didn't they flash back to that shit? That would have got my attention.
Yeah. Okay, if they're going to have two narratives that they constantly flip back and forth from, maybe adding a third one would be a bit of a, maybe.
I've seen
I don't
one
need
show.
I don't need a third narrative. I just need like 10 seconds of her standing in front of a blown up orphanage, and that would have been good.
What were you going to say, Patient?
I was going to say that I've seen one show do the alternating narrative thing back and forth. Right. Only one. That would be Once Upon a Time. Either of you seen that?
You mean the live action show?
Yes.
Yeah, my mum was a big fan. I didn't watch it because I didn't like it. I think
I
watched
watched
an
it for like a season and a half, and it did it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I dropped it after a season and a half. It was just getting too dark for me.
Nothing ever changed or improved. Yeah, it had a lot of problems, but that's a different thing.
But they did do it right with controlling the pacing between present and past. Not so much here. I don't know if that's because it's... I don't know if some slack can be cut just because it's a half-hour show instead of an hour. Doubtful.
No. Like, if you can't focus on one narrative for more than 2 minutes, you have a problem. People actually need to settle into scenes. That's kind of a really important thing to happen in storytelling. You don't just flip back and forth because it makes everything confusing. Especially when there is a 20-year gap between the storylines that you don't know about unless you pay attention to one very specific line of dialogue. Wow.
I mean, it strikes me at the outset as catering more towards a young adult sort of audience. But no, not young adults, but it just doesn't strike me as something that is meant for, I want to say it's not meant for a more grown-up audience, but then there's the fan service, and that throws that out the window.
It's even really fan service. There's no jiggle physics, and it's only.
Remember at the end when they cut back to, I guess, the mom or something?
And she's naked, yes,
right.
we remember.
She's flying in an arena, and then she's immediately just naked and posing for no one.
Okay, let me get to the points. We're jumping about as much as they are.
Why do we care about the points? It's bad.
Because I'm having fun. Shh. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were back where the kids were all happy and everything was idyllic and fun and everything was wonderful. And the little brat of a little brother is like, "Hey, you two fucking like each other. Cool." And then she strangles him, and they have a romantic moment while she's strangling him, as Zero pointed out.
Yes.
I will defend his actions here. If two people have both confessed feelings for each other to you, just fucking tell them both.
I second that emotion.
Avoid the drama.
I really do. What was that?
I was saying, go ahead. I talked over you. Go ahead.
I do second that emotion. I honestly hate the whole of all times. Excuse me.
Yeah, I get where he's going with. Just nip that shit in the bud. It's not fun for anyone involved.
Especially
I'm not having
with
this will they won't they bullshit in real life.
Go ahead,
okay?
patient.
I hate spam calls.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Right, I was saying I don't like the whole this character likes that character but is too afraid to tell them and they're in the same boat. If there's a middleman between them who knows that they return each other's feelings, just say as much. It'll make for a faster, happier interaction. Yes?
Absolutely.
So yeah, they're staring lovingly into each other's eyes. Flash forward! So, we're back into the battle scene again. Fucking Christ. I hate this so much, but it's so great and so terrible to make fun of.
It's not great. This is awful.
It's great in retrospect. It was
We're in
a
danger, so
nightmare
let's be
watching.
saved by Magical Girl.
Yeah, that was. She's like a little pixie or some shit.
She's
I
a
don't-
pixie, but with like a Magical Girl rod that
Who
is
the fuck knows?
gigantic.
And
When
they're
When did
fine.
the show introduce fantasy races? Apparently now.
Also, I just want to say there was a world map that was shown that makes this like it's Europe.
You call it a world map? I saw 2 countries.
It was a world. It was a quote unquote map that they showed for like 5 seconds. It's like that's just Europe, and then cue Miko girl because of course there's a Miko girl. And all what is Japan and always having to put in a Miko girl all the time, even
Yeah.
when it's not appropriate for any sort of setting reason. Just remember what type of anime this was.
Yeah, it's kitchen sink shit. It's just what they're doing. So we flash forward back to the battle, and the fighting is still going on, and we get the scene with what's her name duking it out, and it's not interesting or well animated or entertaining, especially. And then something changes, and then I think we get another flashback. I feel like that happens immediately. And we get Princess Girl saying to Bluehead Dude that, we're going back to Castle of Princesses, where we all originate from on a factory line. And they'll never forget each other and stuff, and see us off and stuff.
It makes one of us.
Flash forward, I guess, because that's just how it happens. And Sister Hell, that was her name, she does a big spell, and there's a horn, and they're like, oh no, is it an angel? And apparently angels are giant robots.
Now, see, that much made me flash to Bayonetta.
Yeah, okay. That's
A little bit. It's not quite fucked up enough for Evangelion. So,
yeah.
Bayonetta, yes.
So this setting has giant robots, along with the fantasy magic and the Japanese shrine maidens in medieval Europe and the windmills and fucking goddamn it.
You really nailed it. Where it's a everything in the kitchen sink kind of fucked up.
What the hell? Let's throw a few extra corn dogs in there just for flavor's sake. Who knows?
I like
And yet
corn
there's
dogs.
not a black person or any kind of ethnicity besides white.
But Slicer, obviously, I mean, it's medieval Europe. Because the
God,
shrine maiden.
anime.
Yeah.
I'm just going
It was a
to.
mistake.
I found this video of Prism Ark game
I'm
Oh,
not
yeah, it was
looking
a
at
on
game.
PlayStation 2.
Yep. I forgot to mention it was a game, so yeah,
It was
writing
multiple
was
games.
Was it a game first or is it an anime first?
It was a
Game
game
first.
first.
First,
okay.
it was this Prism Ark 2, but it's Prism Heart came first, as that was an Arrow game.
It
Then
was a
Prism
visual
Ark
novel,
came.
wasn't it?
So, hey, I think that couple that we were flashing back to are Prism Heart characters, and then this is Prism Ark. Prism Ark is the one that got the anime, not Prism Heart.
Okay, knowing this actually helps the anime. It makes it a little more understandable that it's a chaotic, jumbled mess.
No, No, it doesn't though.
It does for me.
They could have done like 1 5-minute exposition of this is these people and how they got together and they had a kid, and then we flash forward to the kid, but instead they decided to intersperse it throughout the entire episode, and it just made it a jumbled mess, and there was no reason to do it that way. So
no, I'm not saying it's.
They could have also not started the fight.
I'm not saying it's better as a result. It's just that if one thing I've learned over the period of my entire life is that mediums don't transfer well. Anime should not be live action, that kind of thing.
yeah.
It's not that it shouldn't, it's just that it's very, very difficult to do it right, such that we don't typically have, such that no examples really spring to mind of someone who can do it right. But that doesn't mean no one ever will. Just, you really need to know what you're doing. And I mean, it does make it understandable that it's a jumbled mess if it's based on a video game. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go out of your way to try to avoid making it a jumbled mess instead of something that's just there to cash in on the product placement and popularity. I mean, we've seen shows that take video games and put them into anime form before that have done it well, like the Ace Attorney one. And I mean, yes, that was just the tutorial case, but it was a smooth transition, right?
So there's two villains that I would like to name. There's Judas, and then right above him is Darkness Knight. So
back to the not good that we have to deal with, and not the extra stuff that Zero is trying to hand us. The narrative of the jumbled narratives gets a little hard to keep track of for me at this point, so I'm just gonna... in the flashback, we have the blue-haired kid doesn't go to see them off, and they're very disappointed by this, until he hears the carriage start to leave, and then decides to chase them down, because it's more dramatic that way. And
they can stop. I mean, they could have just...
They fucking can't. That horse is fucking going, okay? They made very clear that horse is booking it. He wants to get where he's going.
guys, can we just stop for like 5 minutes? Okay.
I didn't even see a driver on that carriage. That horse just knew what it was doing, and it wanted to do that job.
Yup. It was not stopping for nothing or nobody. I love this scene. Also because while the horse is just fucking full gallop, this kid, this like 10-year-old kid, somehow manages to keep up with it. Not only keep up, but catch up with it. It's fucking great.
Adrenaline is an amazing thing sometimes, Casey. He knows what he wants, and he's running for it.
Yeah.
There's no stopping him.
So, they make the little kid promise, yay, let's be nice together and let's get married someday, yada, yada, yada.
And then the kid proceeds to black out from running 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, I hope so. And it turns out he's actually the 50-mile-per-hour man from the Cyanide and Happiness skits. He didn't figure it out, though, unfortunately. But, sad times. Little kid, Prince dude dies because he was frail, I guess.
Yeah, a year later, after agreeing to meet again, the Hans dies.
Yeah. And Princess decides to become a knight in his place because she couldn't have done it on her own and without this inspiration, because women can't be knights. That's ridiculous. Look at all those women that are knights.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
She's just a woman. She doesn't know any better, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I do think in this case, she just never really had the inclination to do it until she decided that she had to take up her late brother's dream instead of... I don't get that there's a sense of sexism here.
No, there's not. We're just making fun of it.
Yeah.
It is a decent thing. I mean, she didn't have those goals, and she didn't really have any goals of her own aside from waiting around. So, I mean,
And
it's
getting
believable
married.
that she would take them on.
Yeah. So, yeah, she goes on to be a knight and fight in an arena for some reason. Not entirely sure where that came from. That has nothing to do with being a knight. But, then she's bathing in a waterfall for some reason. She is a princess. She probably has access to bathing.
Minutes. We only have like 2 or 3 minutes left in this. How are we going to finish it?
Boobs.
Yeah.
Only way.
I
have nothing
I
else.
was surprised by the boobs. I did not think this would go in the direction of boobs, to be honest.
I mean, we were warned last week. Last week?
We were?
Well, we kind of were that the games went in this direction, but there were no tags for it on the anime. So we were like, oh, maybe they were a little tasteful, but no, not really. So, yeah. She's in a waterfall and bathing, and then there's someone in the bushes, and oh, hey, it's the blue-haired boy falling out of a bush again. And then, presumably, they got married and had a kid, and that's where the narrative goes. It's not really. That was entirely pointless. But it was funny.
Is that where episode 2 picks up? The children... What?
No, they have a kid, and that kid is the dude in the future story, in the battle. Highway.
At least that's what it seems to be implying, from what I could gather.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I guess the main female character of the fight, at least, had her mom's sword? Because they have the same sword. I thought they were the same person.
I don't know.
I'm so fucking confused.
Maybe
Why?
the Lannisters? I don't know. So... Where were we?
I know
Right.
enough to get that reference.
Gross.
Yeah, so back to the battle, because, the past narrative is now completed now that I've basically ignored the whole time-skipping thing. Oh, I will mention, though, the whole scene where the little kid brother dies, and the princess is screaming in anguish and pain, and oh god, he's dead! And then we cut back to the battle, where everything is supposed to be serious, but all of a sudden there's the mascot characters like, oh god, what are we gonna do?
And that was jarring. Honestly, they're like, the robot is breaking through their magic barrier, and the magic user's like, oh god, we're about to die, and suddenly... And then the mascot character, as you called her, just, like, jumps in and does the chibi thing. It's like, what tone are you going for here?
Yeah. It was awkward.
But they do it through the power of friendship and transforming into an eagle.
The fact that they actually killed... Like, okay, the description sets up the angels to be these big, hulking, powerful things. Why did they have it so they killed one in the first episode? I realize they immediately show an army of these things, so the threat is, scaled a little bit. But the fact that they could kill it with seemingly little effort, it's weird.
It makes them seem like jobbers.
Exactly, yes.
It wasn't really without effort, or at least they tried to portray that it wasn't without effort. Like, oh, we need to do this thing. We can't do the thing. That thing has like a 3% chance of success. I don't care. We're going to do the thing. I trust you. They do that whole song and dance. And
It didn't exhaust any resources. It didn't use all of their magical power, supposedly. It's like they could just do it again.
well, apparently they have to, because now they're outnumbered worse than the Spartans were at Thermopylae. So,
I am genuinely curious where episode 2 picks up on.
yeah, I have no idea how they resolve that.
So,
You have fun finding out.
Well, here's something to note. I watched to the end of the episode for the preview for the next episode because I was curious too. You know where the next episode takes us?
Oh, please.
Somewhere else.
The Night Academy.
okay.
What?
Are you telling me that they spent the entire episode doing flashback to flash forward to flashback to flash forward to flashback between two entirely different narratives?
Hold on 1 second.
And then at the end, for this narrative, they skip to an entirely different third narrative?
Hold on. Hold on, I gotta see if they do the flashback thing in the second episode. Hold on, he's talking.
Who is attending the Night Academy? The brother who died?
Okay.
Or are we flashing back to when these two were in the Night Academy?
Because it's like the two who were there earlier on, the two in the flashback, they were Meister and Princea, because what other name are you going to use for princess?
Yeah.
And they're the main characters of Prism Ark, which is the original game, and Prism Ark is sequel. So why are they even here? I guess they're still technically around, but as adults. And then the main female girl in this future arc is called Priscilla. So they just kind of took Princea and then just changed a few letters.
I don't think they're still around, because if they were still around, it probably wouldn't be a case of, let me tell you the story of your parents.
There is no flashback in the second episode.
Okay.
Highway related?
From what I'm reading on Wikipedia, their whereabouts are quote-unquote unknown.
Well, they're adults in anime. Of course they're useless.
It's fair. It's not fair, but it's anime.
Oh God.
So
Also, there's apparently a villain who wishes to become God.
So let me see if I've got this right. We leave off with them facing down a colossal army on their own, and the next episode just leaves us hanging for that.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Well, that's
Not
one.
even a hint.
Come on, they
Nothing.
don't have the budget to animate that. They don't have the budget to animate the first episode.
That's true. So
I mean,
who is the story focusing on at the Night Academy? I didn't.
I think
get
it's
that.
Yahweh, because he's apparently, from what I'm reading,
You mean
Yeah,
Highway.
It seems like it's all the girls.
it's supposed to be Highway at the academy, because he's apparently this whole thing is supposed to take place at an academy, and we're seeing after the academy.
So basically,
I
this
scrolled
entire episode was pointless as far as the rest of the show is concerned.
Yes, this entire episode was actually pointless
I would
and
say
did
it's
not
to-
contribute anything to the narrative that actually exists.
I would say it's to introduce characters and make you attached to them, but like everything went by so quick.
I learned nothing about anyone. I got nothing out of this
I think
show.
this is one of the worst shows we've ever reviewed with this.
Okay, I agree in principle, Zero, but it's one of the worst shows that we've ever watched that was the best to review. This was so much fun to rip apart.
I learned nothing about watching the show. Like 20 minutes, and I got nothing out of this.
Well, we got going on
can't
36
believe,
minutes
like-
of content out of it, so hey, that's a pretty good trade.
How many still shots are you going to do with the same boy or going come on, get one.
Like
Well, if
at no
Rosario
point
Vampire is
in this,
talking anything, you can keep that going for like 20 minutes.
dude, at no point in the show was it close to even anything that we considered rational television.
Yeah.
Everyone in this party is dumber for having
It's
watched
not
the
a show;
show.
it's a series of stills. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, it's
And-
technically not an anime, it's an animatic, is what we just watched.
I lost brain cells watching this show, which is not something I need to lose at this point because I'm already losing enough of them on a weekly basis.
Here's your ambition, animatic YouTubers. This is what you can be if you try hard enough.
Shitty almost
Kenshi,
anime.
you're the one who's so frugal with his veto.
No
Speaking
one else
of-
vetoed this either. Screw you.
I
didn't use my veto,
wanted
and
God
I usually
metaphors.
use my-
I got none of that,
I
okay?
usually use my veto immediately.
I mean, in fairness, from the summary alone, this doesn't actually sound that bad. Like,
It does sound bad. It looked bad from the thumbnail.
it sounds a little complicated, but that didn't. Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like garb.
Wow,
Speaking
a lot
of
things
vetoes,
are
though,
garbage.
we probably should roll a new show.
Yes.
Alright.
Fine. Whatever. Sure. Get me as far away from this crap as you can. 6.
6. That's F, I believe.
F. What this show gets on my grading curve. F for fucking Prism Ark. Prism Ark.
36.
Alright. And we get 11.
11. Let's see here.
Please no Final Fantasy. Please no Final Fantasy. Please no Final Fantasy.
Say that again, Casey.
Nothing.
Fighting Foodons. Come on, you motherfuckers. Give it to me.
F
Hold
would
on
be
a
like
second.
6.
I don't know if that's actually here.
What, Fighting Foodons?
No, it is. It's just higher up on the list. This week's winner is called FLCL.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Wait, the original or the reboot? Sequel thing.
I mean, we do the first episode of the show, so it's fully coolly. We just do fully coolly.
Fully coolly. Oh boy.
I don't even have to watch this.
I think it would be 2 separate series, but yeah, I mean, this. I don't know. How many of us have actually seen this? 'Cause
I
watched
have
that
not
show.
seen it. People keep
I've
telling me to
seen
watch it.
It is wonderful nonsense.
It is Gurren Lagann before Gurren Lagann, in, style, at least. Right?
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Alright, so are we doing alternative or progressive? I don't have the list.
You're doing the original.
Yeah, whichever one's the first one. And there's a dub of whatever the first
There's a
one.
dub, which just uses the abbreviation, and there's Fully Coolly, which is, probably just in Japanese.
Fukui.
I'm just going to link this one and just... That's the dub version.
This is the sub version that I'm going to give you now.
Oh,
Something
cool.
special.
Thanks, Kenchi. Yeah. So, summary. The people are probably already familiar, except I'm not, because I've never actually looked at anything about this show. Nothing interesting happens in Naota's life since his brother left for America, leaving him with his grandfather and father in their boring little town. On his way home with Mamami? Mamami? Really? Okay. His brother's ex-girlfriend, a pink-haired crazy woman riding a Vespa named Haruko, suddenly slams into him, kisses him, and then bashes him in the head with her guitar before riding off.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty wacky. Haruka is a delight.
The next thing he knows, the crazy girl is working as his housekeeper. 2 robots sprout from his forehead to do battle, and the surviving one starts living with him as well. I think it's fair to say that Naota has parted ways with his old mundane life. Fully Coolly is a kooky coming-of-age story with surprisingly deep undertones as the 12-year-old Naota develops through the wild antics of Haruko and matures along the way into adulthood.
Dementia is a genre for this story, so you should probably just accept that for what it is.
I'm down for this.
I'm not really opposed either. It's just too wacky for me to object.
It's good, honestly.
It is
It's
good.
not like random for the sake of being random. It all ties back together. Well, except for the random art changes in the later episodes. That was just kind of strange. But, whatever.
Alright.
It's not panty and knee stocking or
Fully
whatever.
Coolly.
So.
I guess I'm finally watching Fully Coolly. That's fair enough then.
See, sometimes the show's a bitch. Like today, Prism Ark. And then sometimes it's really nice to you and lets you watch Fully Coolly.
Okay, let's be real. Watching the show was terrible, but talking about it was fun as hell, right? I
Okay,
had
but
so much fun.
to talk about it for 30 minutes, I had to watch it for 20 minutes. I'm not sure that's a fair trade-off.
I
I
mean,
think it is.
this reinforces my point on P. We've had good experiences with it. A few good shows.
That was an interesting sentence you just said. But okay.
If you don't drop that, Casey, can you cut the recording now, please?
No. We've had good experience. P. That's great.
All right, so
Okay.
we're
We'll see you guys
12.
next time.
Bye, everybody.